Dear friends, welcome to another episode. In this video, we will talk about the weapon that is quietly rewriting the rules of this war. It is not the most powerful missile Iran has. It does not cause the most destruction per impact. But it has found a way to consistently defeat the most sophisticated air defense system in the world. And it is being used in growing numbers against civilian neighborhoods across Israel. It is the Cluster Warhead Ballistic Missile. And what it is doing to Israel's home front, and to the logic of missile defense itself, is far more significant than most coverage has acknowledged. Since the war began on February 28th, Iran has fired hundreds of ballistic missiles at Israel. Israeli air defenses, the Arrow system, David's Sling, and Iron Dome have intercepted the vast majority of them. The interception rate has been the centerpiece of Israel's public communication strategy throughout this conflict. What the numbers do not capture is what happens when a missile carrying a cluster warhead is intercepted, because intercepting the missile does not always stop the weapon. Here is how it works. An Iranian ballistic missile fitted with a cluster warhead, most likely the Khorramshahr variant, carries a cargo section containing up to 80 individual submunitions, each weighing several kilograms with approximately 4 kilograms of explosive material. The missile travels through the upper atmosphere at high speed. At approximately 7 kilometers altitude above the target, the warhead opens. The submunitions separate from the missile body and begin their own independent descent. Dozens of burning objects, described by witnesses on the ground as looking like stars falling from the sky, spread across an area of several kilometers. Now, consider what that means for air defense. Israel's long-range Arrow interceptors are designed to destroy a ballistic missile during its terminal phase, the final minutes of descent before impact. When an Arrow missile successfully hits the incoming ballistic missile, there is an explosion. In a conventional warhead scenario, that interception destroys the threat. But when the warhead is a cluster munition, the intercept may come after the submunitions have already separated at altitude. The explosion destroys the missile body. The bomblets continue falling. Israel has no system capable of tracking and intercepting dozens of small, fast-moving submunitions, simultaneously descending over a wide area. The defense was designed for the missile. The cluster weapon bypasses it entirely after separation. According to Haaretz, tracking of confirmed penetrations of Israel's air defense system found that at least 14 Iranian missiles successfully reached Israeli territory without interception. Of those, 11 were cluster missiles. That ratio is not coincidental. As missile defense expert Tal Inbar told CNN, this is a mechanism to bypass active missile defense. Iran is not just firing cluster weapons to cause damage. It is firing them specifically because they are harder to neutralize, even when the missile itself is intercepted. And the scale of their use has been growing. An Israeli military official confirmed to CNN that approximately half of all ballistic missiles fired at Israel during this war have been equipped with cluster munitions. That is a significant shift from previous conflicts. During the 12-day war in June 2025, Iran used cluster warheads in a far smaller proportion of its launches. In this war, they have become Iran's primary tool for penetrating Israeli airspace. The human consequences are real and documented. 2 construction workers at Moshav Adanim in central Israel were killed on March 19th when cluster submunitions from an Iranian missile landed around them. They were not in a shelter. A cluster missile struck a building in Ramat Gan on March 18th, killing 2 residents in their 70s who had not made it to their safe room in time. A kindergarten in Rishon LeZion was struck by cluster submunitions on March 21st. a daycare in the same city was hit. The sub-munitions spread across central Israel's most densely populated corridors, the Tel Aviv metropolitan area. On March 23rd, missiles equipped with cluster warheads were launched toward the Tel Aviv area again. 4 of the 8 Iranian attack waves that day, exactly half, were directed at Tel Aviv. Impacts were confirmed in civilian areas of Tel Aviv, Ramat Gan, Petah Tikva, and Holon. The Alma Research Center, which tracks Iranian attack waves in real time, confirmed that since the start of the war, 337 separate Iranian attack waves against Israel have been identified. In cumulative terms, the Tel Aviv metropolitan area remains the primary target. 18 Israeli civilians have been killed. More than 4,700 people have been injured. Approximately 5,000 Israelis have been displaced from their homes. And then, just this morning, March 24th, a fresh Iranian ballistic missile struck a street in central Tel Aviv. The warhead caused significant damage to 3 buildings. 6 people were lightly wounded. The Homefront Command confirmed the impact. A colonel at the scene told reporters the damage appeared dramatic, adding that the projectile did not appear to split from a cluster warhead, but seemed smaller than conventional warheads previously used. Within the same hour, the IDF detected another Iranian ballistic missile launch targeting southern Israel. The war was not pausing. The strategic logic behind Iran's cluster missile campaign goes beyond any single strike. As Tal Inbar explained, Iran currently cannot mount a large, simultaneous barrage of ballistic missiles. It does not have the remaining launch capacity for that kind of saturation attack. But by using cluster warheads, each individual missile creates the effect of many. One missile can scatter sub-munitions across a 7-kilometer stretch of an urban area. It forces Israel's Homefront Command to treat a single launch as a multi-site incident. It forces rescue teams to respond to dozens of scattered impact points simultaneously. And it forces the public to remain in shelters for minutes after the siren ends, not knowing where the next bomblet will land. There is also the interceptor math. Israel, the United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, and Kuwait all use Arrow and Patriot interceptors to defeat Iranian ballistic missiles. Each interceptor costs between $2 and $4 million. Each Iranian cluster missile costs a fraction of that. If Iran fires a cluster missile and Israel successfully intercepts it before the warhead deploys, Israel spends $2 to $4 million, and the threat is neutralized. If Iran fires the same missile and the warhead deploys before interception, or if the missile is intercepted after the sub-munitions have separated, the cluster weapons continue falling and Israel has spent its interceptor for nothing. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave your like. And if you are not yet subscribed to the channel, subscribe now and hit the notification bell so you don't miss anything new.
שלוש, יש פה מלא נפילות, איציק. בום.